Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity to practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, so welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Carly Smith Brooks, and on this episode, I guess I'll title it manifesting or something like that. I don't know what I'm going to title it, but this episode to me is like recently again I went to one of my previous guests, Tyler, um dancing event, and it was fun as usual. Did some dance move and thing, And if you are one of those earlier persons, I've known that I'm not a great dancer, as you should know. But going there and learn some dance move, meanwhile getting some cardio, doing some workout routine, like has been a great experience, And it takes me back to one of my earlier episodes, one of the ones that I deleted when I just started, and I actually re-uploaded. So I might drop the link in the description so you can go back to it here. But one of those episodes I talk about, it was, back when I wasn't doing it, going down in my basement and stuff. And, it was an idea that I had that came to me that said, okay, yeah, I might do it, but I never really think about actually going and actually doing it, and it was dancing, the idea came up and said, okay, because I think at the time I was trying to get fit or something like that. I was trying to get either gain weight and gain muscles or something like that, isn't it? And something that came to me was, okay, I might, look into dance and stuff like that. During that time, I never really had my guess in mind. The plan was as simple as to watch some videos and learn how to dance or something like that. But it was there, and it was a long time ago. That was around 2018, 2019, and the idea was just there. And look, and now I've actually went to do dancing event, to dance event choreographed, hosted by one of my previous guests. And just one of those things where I have to say, sometimes when you declare your goals or whatnot, even if, even if you don't really intend to actually go towards it, the opportunity will always present itself, and that's one of those things that I have to, I learn with life and things that, once you just write down what you want in life, or said, okay, this I want to achieve or something like that, the universe, I would say, or whatever, is going to present opportunities, the opportunity for it to happen, but it's not going to be like given to you on a silver platter, like, hey, easy go, this is it, and you kind of take it and have it and enjoy it, but it's going to present itself in the best way possible it can, given your situation, because with all of this, the podcast started during after I got laid off doing one of my programming work and stuff like that, and it was getting laid off was actually I was actually happy being laid off, because I never really liked work doing the 9 to 5 thing and actually going there, and I never really, no, it was early in the working, and I was never acclimated into the place as yet, because it was a startup, I never really officially had a culture yet, but eh, being laid off at the time that it was pretty happy for me because I had some idea that I wanted to pursue, and my thought was, okay, I'm going to do the 9 to 5 and then pursue doing the free time stuff. But the time never wasn't free because doing the work every hour that I was on call or something like that, they wanted to give me work to do, and that doing that, I realized that that's one of those predatory things, predatory things that I guess people doing 9 to 5 have to face. When they go in and they said, okay, you're going to work 9 to 5, they're going to give you all kind of work to do just to fill up your 9 to 5, and then the worst thing about it, majority of those people are getting underpaid, and it's like, brother, and it's one of those things. If you're a business leader, CEO, you have to. That's one of the reasons why I do a podcast by myself. I don't really ask anybody to help me do this. It's all start up by myself because if I one thing about me, if I'm going to ask somebody to do something for me, if I can't just really properly compensate them, it makes sense I do it by myself. And that's what many businesses are doing now, which is why I'm trying to mentally get myself in the mind, mentally prepare if I'm going to get a 9 to 5 to get myself in the best position to so that doing the work doesn't really um detract from my vision, and but many people are in there now, and that's the reason why many people are depressed and not at going after their goals and whatnot, because the business is like the slave and the master mentality. They're trying to do everything. They're trying to make you do all the work and they get all the profit and stuff like that. And one thing I realize is that when I realize and see is that majority of these business leaders, even though they're getting the profit and making the we call it the using people's effort to progress their goals. When I realize and I look at those business leaders, majority of them are old, So that's the one of the things that people don't realize, and the cost of success is that majority of the richest people in the world are pretty old, and you're okay, you're at the best point in your life, you're the richest point in your life, you're making all these things, but you're not in the peak, and when I have these people at the end of their life, they're going, well, nah. But that's one of the things when when I leave school or stuff like that, that you should look into. Look at the people around there and say, okay, yeah, he's a business leader, doing all these things, being all these person, big career, all these things. But when I actually look at their life, you realize that, do you really want to do that? And that's what I mean when I say, okay, when you state certain goals, like for example, I want to get a car. The world is going to present you the offer to get your car, but many of the ways that the easiest way that you see you get it, like for example, going to school, they said, okay, I want to get a university degree. The world is going to present it to you, and I said, okay, all I have to do is just take out this student loan and do it, and then boom, you got a degree. But what have you done? You a 18-year-old take out how much $1 million loan, how much $100,000 loan, the first, and and think about that. You're 18 and you're getting $100,000 loan to do a degree. Think about prior to all those years. Has anybody give you $100,000 or $1 million up front until they say, okay, do what you want with it? No. But they just simply give it to you now that you're 18 and want to go to the university. And then they leave university with a degree and all this debt to be repaid. So as I said, the world will offer it, But it's you have to really assess yourself and say, okay, is this where I want to go? But not only that, back to what I was saying now with the dancing thing and thing. While I said that was one of my, I like to do it, I knew in my mind that that wasn't really much of a priority. So while there are many ways of me, of dancing and stuff presenting itself, I look for the the Tyler situation arose as a good opportunity to me because my priorities I my priorities was in check, you know, and it was mute and thus this transaction because it's a paid event, so I paid to go there. It's mutually beneficial to both of us in that it's it's a leisure activity for me, and for him it's his passion and passion and things and so stuff that he likes to do, and it aligns together with both of our goals because dancing now being, but then when I made the goal I was my weight was around 145, similar, um 145 pounds. But now, me dancing and doing this thing now, me being over 200 pounds, now, the dancing now acts as a cardio way to actually get myself back in shape outside of the normal exercising that I've been doing. So, you know, is the it's one of those episodes that I tell you that, okay, it's good to write down your goals to say, okay, boom, I want a house, I want a car, I want this, I want that. And when you write it down, the world is going to offer to is going to present it to you. But one of the things that I can see that will make you that will actually benefit you in the long run is having patience and the ability to delay. And one of my previous guests said, that was said, delay your gratification, delay. Don't take the easy road. Don't take the easy way and say, okay, I'm going to just take out a loan and go do this or whatever. You say, okay, let me just take a year off as or whatever. Take some time off and get myself mentally prepared to do what I'm about to do. Because that's essentially what I do. That's what the podcast kind of documented. After I left university, when I was in university, I was at my peak, as I can say. I was where my confidence and my status and stuff like that kind of aligned. That was basically my peak during the university time. But after I left university, all that went away, and my confidence kind of dropped due to me failing those three courses. That kind of messed up my mentality. But what the good thing that happened was being laid off after being laid off from the place, and then the corona situation happened and giving me time to mentally rebuild myself. Mentally rebuild myself to where I'm at now, which is not the best place in my opinion yet, because while I make progress, I have to make some sort of sacrifice, like for example my peak physique and stuff like that, But in the trading for all of that now, my mindset is kind of in a better place, a more mature place and stuff like that. While being right now, I'm 25, so I'm kind of in my youthful age. So learning this early kind of put me in a better position than many others would be in this point in their life, and also giving me the privilege to basically give you all of what I've learned during this time in a free podcast format, and Similar to, I just talk about the podcast and thing, the same thing with the podcast and stuff. When I came out of university, my degree was biochemistry. And I think I mentioned before, yeah, doing science in where I'm from is not really going to be an easy road. There's not really much job or what opportunities or whatever. But what kind of changed my trajectory was basically watching the YouTube video when I found out about the 90 days to change my life from this person named Coach Greg Adams, and then this other thing called dopamine detox, where you take one day to basically go away from the world, go to a quiet place and fast and just eat nothing or drink nothing for the whole day, and just basically write down your feelings. How do you feel at this current point in your life, and what would you like to change, and where you would like to be in 5 years, 3 months, or whatever. Just write down those goals and basically have it on a paper. And then what happened was basically every day, subconsciously or consciously, both, every day that I wake up, I was either subconsciously or consciously working towards one of those goals, and it ended up to where I'm at now, you know, and that's simply basically me just basically having the goal, and when the world presents this opportunity, I made the decisions, and basically, boom, it basically, and what also happened was, as I go back to the dancing, with it being mutually beneficial to me and the host, which was Tyler, the and my progress and my journey to get to where I am now. Every time I'm in a good opportunity, I'm in a position to empower someone else, you know, that basically get them started into what they want to do, and boom, and then basically get them in a better position, that, and in return that basically lessen my stress, you know, because that's one of the reasons, the thing that I talk about when I talk about business lead, and how they may profit off of the people's work and stuff like that, but they are old. One of the reasons for that, though they look so old and elderly, is due to stress of running that company and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that I kind of learned, I kind of take up before, where I don't take on things that I can't handle. You don't hear me speaking about. You really hear me speak about things that I don't know, you know? Either I basically have a vague idea and I speak my opinion on it, or I can tell you plain out, okay, this is what I know about it. You know, you don't see me taking up things that I don't do, and not only that, I outsource things that are done by a better person that are more passionate about the thing that I'm doing than me, because the same thing, the dancing, it's better to me go pay the $3,000 and the $1,000 to go to Tyler's event, where he's a professional dancer, and basically learn from him the dance move, than actually me spending time learning myself. It costs me money, but what it also did was, it other people were there, so it put me in a new social circle. It forces me to come out of my comfort zone more and do new things, and also help me burn calories, you know. And the same thing with the YouTube channel. I outsourced the intro to one of my other guests that was passionate about making videography and stuff like that. I basically give him the basic idea, and I just paid him, and he had free reign to basically do what he wanted, and basically he made a very good intro that not even me could think. I think I could develop something as good as that, you know. And that's simply because I just give it to someone else that is passionate about what they do and what that does. All three of us basically did what we love, and little stress, and basically every one of us benefit from those interactions. So basically, my conclusion to this is basically that, when you basically declare a goal to the world will present the path to actually achieving those goals. So one of the thing that will actually help you to basically um get the best outcome is your ability to stay patient. Basically don't rush the process. Just go the right path and do it correctly. Even if it takes a while, just do it correctly, and don't put added pressure on yourself. Just basically do the required preparation before, so that when the world presents the offer, you are mentally prepared, so that you can just go in and come out with as little stress as possible, and you will get the best outcome that you possibly could, given your preparation, you know. And doing with those philosophy, you go into many situations and coming out refreshed, and you have people going asking, uh, you look, youthful or whatever, and while some of those other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing are stressing out all those stuff, because what, they either maybe do it for the money or some other things, so they end up taking on things that they can't manage, and the stress piles onto them, and you see some basically young people and stuff like that aging out, due to the stress and whatnot. So that's basically my mini rant. I guess the title for me for this, I will say, is um the cost of declaring a goal, or something like that, or how, yeah, something like that. So boom. All right. Thank you for listening to this episode, and look forward for the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
It just came to me, because recently I went and tried to get my PC fixed again, and it was a failure, you know, and I think that kind of made me came up with this episode, which is, you know, uh, I mentioned it before, but when I was doing the 90 days to change my life, the unforeseen circumstances. I guess this is one of those important unforeseen circumstances that I guess maybe everyone may end up getting on their road to whatever they're going to do. And this is basically losing money or wasting money. So yeah, let's get into it. So boom, on your journey, I can't